Do you guys like my new background? One, my voice is kind of gone, and the more I talk I realize that it's pretty bad. But two, I wanted to film a movie today because I'm off sick from work, so I figured why not utilize that time and film a movie? No, that's not what I meant to say. Film a video, I promise. I'm only have a cold, I'm really not that sick. Anyways, the video that I'm filming today is totally one that I actually stepped up here with a plan to film a completely different wrap-up video of the books I read this month, and instead I'm coming at you live with YA book to movie adaptations that should be redone and ones that are perfectly fine and should stay the way they are. So this idea kind of sprung from the fact that I was just watching the honest trailers for Ready Player One. It was a movie I actually really enjoyed. I'm not even going to include it on this list. And kind of got me back in the world of being like, which one of my beautiful books should be adapted? And then I was like, well, which ones were already adapted and should just be adapted again? And I created a little list. Let me know if you guys agree with it or not. It just was something I made it within 5 minutes, so I probably missed quite a few things and probably might offend some people if these are your favorite things. So let's get into offending some people, or not. So I wrote on my phone, and I'm gonna alternate between which ones I think is fine and which one I think should be remade. So let's start it with the nastier one. A movie I think should be remade is Percy Jackson series. I think this one is something everyone agrees with. I'm not gonna say that I've ever met many people who are diehard Percy Jackson movie fans, just because the books itself were so good, and then the movies, not that they were bad, but they really went, from these great things to these terrible things. It just really didn't represent the book, and if they had stuck to the plot line of the book, I think they would have done a lot better instead of trying to fit this 5-book series into these 2 books that the 2 movies that they ended up creating. So I'm gonna say that's my first one that I would love to see a remake. And I know that Netflix tweeted the other day a little teaser saying that, would you like to see the Percy Jackson world created into TV show? And I think that'd be super cool. I don't know about you guys, but just to be able to see and sort of you get more of the everyday feel when it's a TV show instead of just all at once sort of movies, and they kind of crash and burns with the movies too. So I kind of think, and I'm really hoping that Netflix does end up picking this up. They retweeted or took a poll or something like that on Twitter to see who would be interested, and it did get a lot of attention, got my attention. So we're gonna hope for that one. A movie I think is fine and should be left the way it is, I'm gonna start with the big one. It's the Harry Potter series. Of course there's those little changes, and of course there's a lot that they left out, and of course there's stuff they could have done and all these different things, but that's why they're still making all these movies, and that's why it's, perfect the way it is, because what they did was create something from these books that is so similar to it, but also very different. And it just warms my heart. It warms everyone's heart watching these Harry Potter movies. You can leave them the exact way that they are. I'm the biggest Harry Potter fan. I just think that they're absolutely perfect from the world that they created. The only thing I can say that might not be my favorite thing about Harry Potter is that it sort of changes a lot depending on the director, and maybe the last director wasn't one of my favorites in comparison to the person who directed the 3rd or the 4th, but either way, I'm still really happy. It's still Harry Potter. So we're gonna keep that on a positive note and just say, thank you for having those Harry Potter movies into existence, because I know they are what got me into Harry Potter. The next one I included on my not fine is actually a TV show. This is a book series I read so long ago. I can't even remember if I really even liked the series, but I remember going out of my way to watch a pilot that they uploaded it's everywhere on the internet, but the pilot wasn't picked up. It is Delirium series. Don't know if you guys remember that. Don't know if you guys are ringing any bells, but it is where love has a cure, and obviously the main character is almost given the cure or something like that. It's been so long since I read it, but they came out with this little pilot for it, and it would have been a TV series, and it would have been picked up had it, been a good pilot. I just think it's something that could be redone and could be made into a potentially interesting story. I think it had Emma Roberts starring in it. I could be completely wrong, but either way, if you guys have read Delirium and have never heard about the pilot, go and watch it. It's pretty cringy and doesn't exactly follow the storyline that you would assume it would follow, but they were setting a lot up that obviously didn't get to happen, so it should be remade. Something I consider fine is the very first Divergent movie, and only the very first Divergent movie, because after that it really goes all downhill from there. I remember seeing the very first Divergent movie, and from then on in, while going to the theaters and seeing this movie again 3 or 4 times. Like anytime a friend wanted to go see a movie, it'd be like different groups of friends that I would go see these with. And I just loved it so much. For a book that I didn't really care about, I loved the first Divergent movie and there was so much hope there. And then I think that the people creating the movie also had the same sort of hope for it, and that's why they launched this huge budget and were trying so hard to make, you know, Divergent this really cool thing and this really explosive thing, whereas it didn't, like, it wasn't ever like that in the books. It really didn't need to be. And obviously you guys have heard that, like, it really is flunked. They're not even making the last film in the movie, instead making a TV series, which has just completely never happened, sort of like gone off the face of the earth. So I just think that I loved the first one. I didn't care for the other ones, but I wish they redid them to like match with how good the first one was. That's all I really want. It had a really sad ending in the book, so I'd like to see that on the screen. My voice sounds awful, by the way, I'm so sorry. The next one I have to say is not fine is the Mortal Instruments movie and TV series. I know Shadowhunters just got cancelled, and I know the Mortal Instruments did not make it past the first movie, so it's like they've even tried to recreate and remake the movie into this TV show, and they failed a second time. And I think maybe if they just got like a few, like the better lead actress, maybe they would have done a bit better, but that's in my books how I feel about it. Or if they had kept the same cast that they had for the movie, would have obviously appreciated more, but it's also pretty hard to get someone like Lily Collins to obviously film a TV series. So I would like to see maybe even not like another Shadowhunters or Mortal Instrument things, because those are the same like story, but you know, an Infernal Devices are another thing that takes place in the Shadowhunters world made into a movie. I think it would be great. And not only that too, but you can kind of tell there's already bank in this sort of area for a movie producer to go ahead and, you know, make that, or a TV show, who knows. You can kind of tell like these books are like, there's like a new book every year in this universe. You can kind of milk that a little bit more, as they have been with this TV show and this movie, but I still think that there's potential there, and personally would love to see the Infernal Devices made into a TV show, just because I love the Infernal Devices so much. The next one I'll say is fine is the Hunger Games. I know a lot of people don't like the Hunger Games movies, but I really like the Hunger Games movie. The one thing I can say against it is that the first movie had a really terrible shaky cam and tried to make it seem like you were in the Hunger Games, and that might have like upset my stomach a little bit, but other than that, like, I love Jennifer Lawrence and, you know, Josh Hutcherson. They were great in it. I really enjoyed the Hunger Games. I thought they were a fantastic action movie and really conveyed the plot well. Like, they kept almost everything in there as far as I can remember. So maybe not a lot of people agree with this, but I think the Hunger Games should be kept the way it is, and maybe like, you know, in 40 years do a remake of the Hunger Games, but until then, like, leave it as it is. It's pretty fine. This one I just remember being as fine. I remember my childhood self loving it, and it was I Am Number 4, and then I went to rewatch it not too long ago, and I was like, oh my god, I lied to myself. These books were bad and the movie was bad. Like, I don't know why I remember it being cool. I think I liked the idea of the plot, the whole like aliens with powers that you had to kill in order and that were like living amongst Earth. But like, it fell flat in the books and it fell flat on the TV show or the movie, but I really think that they could redo that. I really think that they could play off that idea and make it better and make it into something good and kind of play, because I know that these books are Disney, and sort of like make it into like a bit cooler, almost like Disney-ish. I don't know. I'm dreaming pretty big here. I feel like if I was on the production team, I would have some big ideas on what to do with I Am Number 4, because I love the premise and I love a lot of the characters, but I hate the like general plot. So I just think that maybe a remake could happen in the future that doesn't like flop the way that it did. I know the books themselves do pretty well, and I think the movie itself just like failed at the box office, and that's why another one was never produced, but I would like to see another one. I might be one of the few people out there, but bring me I Am Number 5. This one might surprise a lot of you. It's a movie that probably not a lot of people have seen, but I'm sure it's out there on Netflix, and it is the Vampire Academy movies. I know that they're almost nothing like the books, but they're so quirky and like weird and funny. I love them. I love every single actress that's involved in those movies. The storyline was both scary and funny at the same time, and I seriously wish they went further than just the one movie that it came out with. Unfortunately, I believe they just came out around the same time that like Twilight had just finished its phase and people weren't interested in another vampire, you know, spree. So that movie has a special place in my heart. It made me read one of my favorite series, which is Vampire Academy, so I don't think it should be remade, but I think they should continue on with it because I'd be happy about that, and I loved all those actresses. I would love to see them in the movie again. I would love to see a continuation of it, but I can also imagine that it cannot be people's favorite movies just because they made it very like teen chick flicky, and I'm a sucker for that, but some people might not be. A movie that's not fine. I haven't even read the book about this, so I really can't compare it, but my friend who read the book told me about it, and she told me about this god-awful movie, and she's told me about the premise about it, and I was like intrigued, and she's like, hey, like it sounds like a neat idea. The book was great, but the movie wasn't. It is Maximum Ride. The movie itself is on Netflix, and I went and maybe watched a solid 10 minutes of it before these people who had like powers that had, like they had wings with them that were just so bad. The CGI was so bad, the acting was awful. It was just, it could have been a cool plot, but where they went just really completely fell flat. I actually looked up to see its Rotten Tomatoes score, and it didn't even have like a Rotten Tomatoes score, but it had 3 out of 10 on IMDb, and it was just so bad I expected like a 0%. Like I expected no one to like this movie, so it was something like 36% of people liked it, and I'm not in that small amount of people. I am in the majority on this one. And I will end on a positive note. I will say that Twilight is a movie series that did fine, and I actually really enjoyed the movies almost as much as I enjoyed the books, even though I haven't read them since I was in high school. So yes, continue the way you are, Twilight. Thank you for being one of the few YA adaptations that actually lasted from, you know, first movie to the end, completely way through without, you know, ruining itself. Kind of like Hunger Games, I guess. I'm almost completely lost my voice, and I know there's a cough in my throat, but thank you guys for watching this video. I had a lot of fun coming up with these titles. Let me know in the comments if you agree with them or ones I'm completely forgetting about that should be mentioned. Oh, there's that cough. Thank you guys for watching. Like this video if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel because it really supports me and because I feel good to see you guys subscribe. Thank you. Bye. Oh, gotta do my hand thing.